All right, welcome everyone to the latest episode of Heighten Your Sixth Sense. In this show, we focus on elevating and aligning the mind, body, and spirit by teaching actionable strategies and fundamental principles. Our relentless goal is to empower every beautiful soul to harness their highest potential, to cultivate awareness, enlightenment, and peace through inspiring, elevated conversations, offering a fresh approach to self-discovery and mastery needed to achieve mastery. Our guest today is Miss Kerie Logan. She is a therapist with 25 years of experience. She's worked globally with people to help them live better lives. She's a life coach she was a life coach before the thing was a fad, Received an award in 2004 as the best coach of the year, clinical certified hypnotherapist with experience and knowledge in human behavior, addictions, fears, trauma, mental health, and daily life struggles. Lastly, she's the host and creator of Master the Upper Room podcast, where she is focused on helping people curious about spirituality, being an empath, mental health coaching, self-improvement, relationships, manifesting, practical communication skills, discovering your authentic self, finding your voice, and becoming empowered and understanding people in the world around us. Ms. Kerie, I want to welcome you to the Heighten Your Sixth Sense podcast, and it's just a blessing and an honor and to have you on the show today. So tell the audience a little about yourself other than what I may have said.
You said a lot. That was a mouthful. I know it's hard when people are like, what do you do? And there's a lot that I do, because I look at it, Sean, as everyone is unique. Can't put them in a cookie cutter box. And so think about baking a cake. You got different, ingredients that you throw in there. So sometimes if I'm working with someone, I'll do coaching first, and I just charge by the session. I throw it in if I get the intuitive hit, empathic hit, that's what they need. And why I say that is sometimes people need that conscious awareness of this is what I am struggling with, or they need that aha moment, or they need to move on up to forgiveness, and they're stuck in let's say, just I hate this person, and maybe they need me to get them out of that mindset of hate and up into courage to view it differently, and maybe help them have compassion or empathy towards that person that they hate. I mean, the best advice I always tell people is, count your blessings, you're not them, because it's got to be miserable being that person, that angry and that hateful. And the truth is, that person could die and still live rent-free in your mind, causing havoc in your life. So a lot of times I like to do what I call the pre-talk to, really see why you're here, what's keeping you stuck, what's blocked, but how to get you unstuck. And then when a lot of times I do hypnotherapy, or I do meditation, or inner child work, parts therapy, but it's getting it to where both parts of the brain get the information, consciously and subconscious, because your subconscious mind is like the operating system on your phone or on your tablet or your computer. You tell it to do this, and it is specifically designed to do that. So that's the hard part I've discovered over the years is, example, smokers. Smokers know consciously they shouldn't be smoking. It's bad for their health. It's a stick of death, but they still do it. But when they slow down their brainwave patterns and they're relaxing, and someone is saying to them, there's always something better to do than smoke, consciously they say, yeah, that's right. And that's the opportunity where the subconscious mind hears. And it goes, oh, that's what you want me to do. I've been doing ABC. You want me to now do XYZ. Okay, I'll start to change the operating system. So it's reducing, because smoking is a habit. It really is just a habit. So what it's doing is it's rewiring your brain. It's deactivating the desire, the want, and the need for a cigarette. And it's reinforcing that, no, I'm a non-smoker, and there's always something better to do than smoke. So the most important thing I tell anybody that wants to do meditation, hypnotherapy, anything that you're listening to create a positive change, you want to do it for 28 to 30 days because it takes that long for a new habit to become a permanent behavior. If you do it for 2 weeks and you stop doing it because you feel great and you're not doing all those bad habits, it's still a Band-Aid, and Band-Aids rip off. And that's what I have noticed with a lot of people that are not successful, as I'll ask them, hey, did you really commit to it for 30 days? And everyone says, no, I stopped about 2 weeks. And so I tell people, you got to be consistent. If you want success, think about getting a gold medal. Anyone that gets a gold medal, they practice. They're practicing all the time until they can do it in their sleep. The same thing. You got to make that agreement, that commitment with yourself that, no, I'm worth it. I'm going to listen to this. And so I tell people, listen at night when you're getting ready for bed. It's pretty much a no-brainer. And sometimes if you fall asleep, it's okay because there's a 45-minute window before your conscious mind goes to sleep because your subconscious never does.
So you can rewire your brain while you sleep. You think that's one of the best methods of doing that? Like putting that new challenge or that new method or the new into your brain while you're sleeping. That's one of the best ways to do it in that 30-day
when you're getting ready for sleep. Yes, because even though you think, let's say sometimes you've fallen asleep, you really haven't, because the conscious mind is still awake and it can still take in all the information. If it is a process you're listening to that wants you to participate, you do want to participate. And so when I mean participate is if you're going to have a conversation with a part of you, you need to participate. You don't want to fall asleep because that's to me, that's an important conversation you want to have. And if you fall asleep, it's rather disrespectful to that part of you. And I know people are like, well, that sounds really weird. But the best way to describe it is, when you hear that negative voice inside your head, well, that's a part of you sometimes. And sometimes it's a part of you that's got someone else's voice wired or hooked in your head, like your mom, your dad, a teacher, someone that used to insult you or offend you, like someone that would say you're stupid all the time. And the best way I tell people to identify that voice in your head, because you can have different ones, you can have multiple people, but you want to stop and you want to ask yourself, is that my voice? Or is that my mom? Is that my dad? Who is that? And then when you get that answer, because only you know that answer, when you get that answer, then you need to forgive that person and you need to work on it. Because seriously, when you acknowledge that voice, because it is there to get your attention, when you acknowledge it, it starts to get quiet. And when you heal it, it goes away. It literally goes away. And to me, that's the best gift you can give yourself. But when you hear that angry voice, talk to it. And instead of being an authoritarian parent and telling it to shut up, go to your room, leave me alone, be compassionate and say, hey, I think we need to calm down, because when we get angry, bad things happen. And you're important to me. So I'll share a story with you, Sean, so it makes sense to a lot of your listeners. I was working with a young boy that struggled with a negative voice in his head all the time, and it drove him nuts. And I said to him one day, I'm like, do you relax and close your eyes, and I want you to tap into that voice. And how old are you at that time? He said I was around maybe 9 years old. I said, well, go inside and look at that voice and look at that little 9-year-old boy, and how does he appear? And he's like, oh, he's scared, he's angry, he's got anxiety, and he's really resentful. So I told him, all right, well, let me tell you what you're doing. You are being and I used swear words at the time because that's the kids' language. You got to sometimes talk on their language. So I said, so imagine this. Imagine a little 9-year-old boy, that was you, who is angry and scared at something that happened and you got triggered. And he got triggered. And so he's trying to get your attention. And what do? You yell at him and tell him to shut up. You tell him, leave me alone. Go to your room. I hate you. I can't stand you. Leave me alone. That's you. You should be like your mom, who is nurturing and loving and says, hey, buddy, we need to calm down. What do you want to talk about? How can I support you? What can we do to calm you down? Because he's trying to get your attention. And so that young man literally sat here in my office in that chair back there and connected with himself and started talking to it. And he said it got quiet. And at first it was kind of still angry at him because years and years he's been mean to it, yelling at it, swearing at it, being a dick to it. And so at first he said he doesn't take me seriously. I'm like, well, would you? I wouldn't. You got to prove it. And so he said the next time that voice popped up when he was, not in my office, he talked to it and the voice calmed down and the voice listened and his anger calmed down and he was able to redirect himself and do something else that wasn't triggering him, because he was talking to someone on social media that got him mad, and he has a temper. And I had to tell this young man, there's people online that it's called rage baiting. They want to bait you. They want to get you mad. They want to get you all fired up, because then they feel great and you feel horrible. They got what they wanted.
Yeah, right. So some people call it energy vampires.
Yes.
They actually trying to take your energy from you, because they put the message on the screen. You read it, you receive their energy, and then when you maybe reply back to it, you sending that same energy back to them, whether it's negative or positive. But most likely you're gonna probably get them the same energy back. So
right, and so we we got to be mindful about who we engage with, because as when you and we went to school, we knew if we knew who the bullies were, we knew who the people that would get in our face, the two-faced gossips, the mean girls, the mean guys. We knew it. But in the world of social media, you don't know where they live. You don't know their face. You don't even know if that's their real name. You don't know.
It could literally be your neighbor. You wouldn't even know it.
Exactly. And you wouldn't know it. And we've heard stories of people being catfished,
which happens all the time, which is crazy in this day and age with all the technology. How can you be so gullible to fall for a picture and giving people money, and they're giving your whole life away to some about voice on the phone, or just some message on a text, whatever. Which I don't understand that, but I mean, some people are vulnerable.
Yeah, they're vulnerable. They're lonely. They're seeking an emotional connection is really what they're seeking. And that's the hard part, because when you're stuck in 3D human consciousness, the world is it can be a really lonely place. You don't feel connected to other people. And sometimes, we long for that. We long for that connection. I'm sure there's places in nature we can go to. Oh, you feel so connected. It's like you're walking into paradise, and just all the energy around it is alive and thriving. And we have to remember we're a part of all of that.
Yeah, exactly. We are. I mean, we are part of the universe. Is us, and we are the universe. There's really no separation, even though people feel like it's separation. We all one. You basically, as they say, as above, so below. It's the same thing on different levels, just repeating itself, just in a different form. So we all connected to the one, to the grand architect, the creator of all of it. So they designed it, all of it, for us to be in unison. But some reason we believe that, I guess because of the matrix, we feel like it's a separation, but we all are one.
Right. Well,
so
go ahead.
Now I was gonna no, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say something that hopefully makes sense to a lot of people. Is I was watching a show with my husband, and there was a woman in the show that was really distraught, and she was saying, God, why did you do this to me? Why are you punishing me? Why, God? Why? Why have you forsaken me and left me and all of that? And she's so angry at God. And I paused the remote and I said, she's got it so wrong. She's here in this lifetime, in this body, to learn. To learn. She should be saying instead, God, what is the lesson I need to learn here? Is it forgiveness? Is it unconditional love? Is it acceptance? Is it surrender? Release. What do I need to learn? And what are you trying to teach me? And give me a sign that is so clear I can't mistake it, because I'm confused and I need your guidance. I need your wisdom. Do that, because he's not punishing you. I mean, we get that so backwards. Sorry, my cat's crying.
No, it's fine. No, it's fine. No, yeah, people get, because the biggest thing why people get it backwards, I feel, is that everybody's looking outward or reaching up or looking up for a God or whatever they may believe in, the higher source. But the reality of it, the higher source is within. So you have to go within to get more connected to the higher source. And so in the other side of that when you have something bad, it's really good too, because it's no separation. It's just basically it's a different level of vibration of energy. And so if you can understand that, well, if I can maybe calm myself down, change my thoughts, that I can reach the other side of the bad part of that bad situation I was in. It's just all about just changing the energy of that situation or the place you may be in, you know.
Right. And if you get triggered, what triggered you? Because everyone is a mirror reflection. And that's a hard one for a lot of people to accept as well.
Yeah. Our reality is a reflection of who we are.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so with everything you do, which is amazing, all the work you've done over the years, from your early foundational years, what led you or what pushed you to get into therapy and coaching?
That's a really good question. I made a YouTube video about it, and your listeners might find this fascinating. But like most people, I was in the corporate world, and I worked for Willamette Valley Vineyards. That's in Oregon. And I oversaw the whole sales force for the state of Oregon and Washington. And I was very, very good at what I did. And when 9/11 happened, the economy tanked, completely tanked here. And I got laid off. And then I decided to do a change. I went into grief support for a while. And then I got laid off of that because they couldn't, afford to do that. Ended up on unemployment and was about to lose my second round of unemployment benefits. And then I didn't know what to do. I was a single mom. I was going to become homeless. I literally was. The state could only help me put my stuff in storage, and that was going to be it. And there was no way I was going to live in a shelter with my daughter. So I went to a friend that does readings, and she told me that you've done everything you need to do here. The perfect job is waiting for you in California. And it's just going to be handed to you. Literally, it will be handed to you. And I thought, oh, you're crazy. I can't do that. I can't afford to move back, because that's where I was raised, was in the Bay Area. I can't afford to do that. I don't get child support. And she said, no, this is what you're meant to do. This is what your calling is, your purpose. And it's going to totally change your life. So like most people, I didn't want to take her advice because I was stuck in fear and anxiety. But when it came closer to me losing everything and being homeless, I called a family friend in the Sacramento area and I said, can I stay with you and look for work? And she said, sure. So I put everything in my car, took the state's offer, put my stuff in storage. And a week later, I got a phone call from a gentleman saying, hey, I really want to interview you. Can you be at my office in an hour? And I said, sure. And when I got there, it was Positive Changes Hypnosis. It was a hypnosis clinic. And at the time, they had about, I think, 60 different centers across the United States. And I was so excited. I was like, I know about hypnosis, meditation, guided imagery, creative visualization. This is awesome. And they didn't tell me that they wanted me to be a hypnotherapist. They wanted me more for the sales and marketing position. And I said, sure, no problem. And I sat down and I had this 3-inch binder of everything I've done, letters of recommendation. And I said, hey, you want to see my portfolio? And the guy was like, oh no, I already knew I was going to hire you the second I met you. You know, the job is yours. We'll just talk about pay, vacation, all that stuff. No, it's yours. She was right. But the blessing is the owner wanted all his top people to be trained in hypnotherapy. And so I got free training, and I got extensive training in smoking, weight loss, cancer, personal change, pain, nutrition, health. I mean, all of it. That's where I got my coaching training. That's where I got trained in NLP. It's neuro linguistic programming. That's where I got my award from. And I was loving it. I became friends with one of the owners, and 2 brothers started the company. It was Michael and Patrick Porter, and Michael was my district manager. You could see the cat in the background. So, and we became best friends. And when he learned about my intuitive side, my spiritual side, he was like, I've met hundreds of hypnotherapists, but I've never met anyone like you. And he's like, as soon as I learned about what you really can do, he's like, that was the cherry on top. You are too good for this place. You need to have your own business. So he gave me $500 worth of free software to start an online business. And he told me, you can't say hypnosis, you know, for 2 years. There's that non-compete clause, but you can say meditation. And I started to build my first practice called Empowered Within. And so, but here's the real kicker is the day before Thanksgiving, and that's, wow, it is almost Thanksgiving. I got in a disagreement with the owner's sister, and I went to my manager and I said, hey, I think she's trying to get me fired. And the manager said, actually, she is, and here's your final check. And I looked at her, yeah, and I was like, what do you mean? I'm the best one here. You gave me an award this year. Why are you doing this? I got 3 months of clients booked with you guys. What is wrong? And she flat out said, she's family and you're not, so you got to go. So I went home and I said, God, if this is my calling, this is what everyone says I am meant to do. Give me a sign that is so clear I can't mistake it, because I love what I do and I know I'm good at it. It's my gift. It's my calling. And the very next day, a client that I already had planned to come over for Thanksgiving because we became friends, she had a Thanksgiving card and she said, I'm really sorry this happened to you. I can't believe they did this. It's just crazy. She said, but I've been sitting on this nest egg. I don't really need it, and I want to give it to you because you're incredible at what you do. And I opened up the card, and there was a check for $1,000. Start your business. Yeah. And when I talked to Michael Porter about it, he said, the universe had to kick you in the butt to get you to leave because you were so committed to us, you would not have willingly left on your own. And he was right. I wouldn't have. I was stuck in fear. So that's
you had to get that push. You had to get that push to get to the next level.
Yeah. Well, and I don't think I shared this, or maybe I didn't, because I've people after a voicemail, and I thanked her for firing me. And I told her, I'm going to look back at this as a blessing in disguise. So thank you for getting me fired. Not many people would have done that. So I forgave her immediately.
You forgave her and freed yourself from that negative emotion and the power she felt like she had over you.
And now I help people all over the globe. And I've been in my area, I've been voted the best hypnotherapist for the past 14 consecutive years.
That's incredible. That's a beautiful story.
Yeah, thank you.
I love that. I bet that lady or individual, I bet she probably like, I bet she may regret how she did you. I wonder. But it's been a really amazing conversation. I've learned a lot. I've grown a lot. And I feel the audience is going to be blessed by this conversation and everything we've discussed. Is there anything else, you would like to share with the audience? If there's anything on your heart?
I just want everyone to be kind and gentle with themselves, and whatever you're dealing with, to just remember it's temporary. Everything in life is temporary. Nothing is permanent. And I do offer a free consultation, like 15, 20-minute phone call with people. And I'll tell you what I get. I'll literally tell you what I get. And I know I've talked to people that have been in counseling or therapy for years, but I'm really good at, figuring out what's keeping you stuck, what's keeping you blocked. And if I can help you, I'll tell you. If money is an issue, I'll tell you what you can do that's more affordable. If I don't think I'm a good fit, I'll tell you and I'll give you my recommendation, like the guy that I'm like, no, now you need EMDR trauma therapy. I'll tell people. I'm here to be of service. Yeah, that's really just what I'm here to. So you can find me anywhere. You can find me on Master the Upper Rooms. You can find me on Insight Timer. There's a bunch of free stuff. You can find me on YouTube. You could just Google me, Kerie, Kerie, last name Logan. There's lots of information online about me.
Awesome. So you're on all the major platforms. You have on your website, Master the Upper Room.
Yep.
And
podcast.
The podcast as well. That's on Apple, Spotify.
Yep.
YouTube.
Yep.
Well, this is definitely, I know once people hear this and it gets out, they're definitely going to be connecting with you, and also empowerwithin.com as well. Yeah. I really thank you for that. Before we go, is there anything else that you would like to leave the audience or humanity in general?
No, Sean, I'm blessed to be here. Thank you, Sean, for having me on your podcast. And I hope all this information is supportive to your listeners and that it makes a positive difference.
I definitely will be. I'm very grateful for this opportunity to, be in your presence, to have the opportunity to interview and speak with you and just be able to share your story and get a chance to share your knowledge and wisdom and your higher understanding, with everybody. So it's going to be a blessing not only to myself, but to the whole Heighten Your Sixth Sense and whoever else may get connected with this information once we put it out there for the world to get a hold of. So I just thank you. This, another great episode of Heighten Your Sixth Sense with Ms. Kerie Logan. And please go check out her great works she's available on all the platforms at Empire Within and masterupperroom.com. So check out all of her good works and everything she has to display. She definitely could be a blessing not only for yourself, but for your current situation, but also your future generations to come. So I'm very thankful. And again, it's another episode of Heighten Your Sixth Sense, and we'll see you guys on the next episode. Thank y'all.